Hello, welcome to the Shattered Mindset Podcast. Wisdom from Life's Turning Points. I'm glad to be here. Man, we are at the podcast summit here. Man, I'm here with my guest, Julbert Abraham, right here at the podcast summit. Man, I'm excited to be here with you, man.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me, brother. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, this is fun. Just to have an opportunity to be here. Has this been an incredible event for you?
Yes, 100%. It's my first time attending
Uh,
uh, live in person. Last year I did it virtually.
yeah.
So not only I'm meeting a lot of amazing people, like people like yourself and others, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm already starting to execute some of the things that I learned.
Wow.
So I'm just excited to be here, my man.
Man, me too. It's been a full day and a full event. I mean, I've
hmm
been really full with the information that I've been getting, and to be able to be a part of something so great as
Yes.
this, and to be in a position to take our podcast
hmm
to another level and to just be able to reach people in the way that we want to. And I'm excited to talk to you because of what you do. When you
Okay.
talked about what you do and it just resonated with me so well,
Thank you.
I'd like for you to just take a moment just to tell us about this Task Maven.
Yes.
Did I do good?
Yes, you did awesome. So, all right, I'll share a little bit. Hey, guys, Julbert Abraham, founder, owner of Task Maven Services. We help business owners get their time back. 10 to 40 hours a week. You spend that time and you should be spending with your family or
Yeah,
taking care of working on your business instead of working in your
I
business.
like it.
So we're able to help you do that. We have a team of 150 virtual professionals in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean,
Oh
and we
man.
will place them in different businesses. So I'm excited here to talk with Melvin and share anything that you guys want to know about virtual assistant.
Oh, well, virtual assistants is a big business now, and a lot of people need that. My wife needs a virtual assistant. My wife needs an assistant. I need an assistant. Thing about it is that
hmm
when I was in corporate,
Yeah.
uh, and I was in corporate management for a number of years, and I had some good success in
Mm.
that area. And the reason that I had that success was because I had good people around me.
Yes, that team is so necessary.
No doubt about it. And one of the main components was my assistant,
Mm.
because my assistant just freed me up
Yes.
to be the creative that I needed to be,
Yes.
to lead like I needed to lead, to do what I needed to do. And so it was huge for me. I think about my wife, how busy she is
Mm.
with the things she does. She's a strong creator. She has an amazing mind, you
Nice.
know, but she's hands on
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than she
Yeah.
needs to be.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about TaskMaven.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of tell you the origin story, and then
Yeah.
I'll dive onto I think some things that every entrepreneurs and business owner should know about virtual assistant, right?
Okay.
So a little bit about me first. I'm originally from Haiti, came to the States 27 years ago.
Wow.
Started my first company at 18,
How
grew
old were
that
you when you came?
13.
Wow. Okay.
So 5 years later, I learned English. When I first came, didn't have a network, didn't have any friends, and was blessed enough to be around the right people
Yeah.
that helped me grow. So fast forward, when I was in college, started my first company,
Hmm.
grew that. Then after graduation, worked in corporate for a couple years,
What
got
kind of
laid off.
company did you start? The
I
first one.
started a event photography business actually.
Okay.
And the funny thing about it, I always share that story is I didn't start the business because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I started the business because I didn't want to be broke and I wanted to meet a lot of girls in college.
That's a good motive. Were you a photographer?
No, actually.
Oh wow.
So here's what
But you had a good
happened.
motive.
Oh, great motive, right? But it was me and three of my other friends.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is I was the sales guy.
Okay.
So I'll go and talk to the girls and say, hey, you're beautiful. We should do a photo shoot with you. You can use
You
that
needed an
for
excuse to do that,
exactly.
right?
Now, here's the beauty though, is after the first year, we realized that, taking pictures was okay for them, but
Yeah.
it wasn't very lucrative. They didn't have a lot of money. It was college students just like us.
Yeah.
What we found was super lucrative was partnering with the local universities. So the school became one of our clients. We did
Oh
their
wow.
event photography, their graduations, their alumni dinners.
You work good in
So,
sales.
so my skill set has improved when it comes to
How did
sales.
you pull that off to get yourself in there like that?
Relationship.
Okay.
One thing with us, I did very well in high school where I had a full ride. So some of the admin people knew me and knew some of our clients and partners.
So you had
So
credibility.
credibility, and
Right.
also the way we pitch it was, hey, doesn't it look great to actually help a team of students in your school
Yeah.
that is growing a business in the school and you'll hire them? You know, that's an amazing image that you
Yeah.
can share, a story that you can share with upcoming students.
Yeah.
So we became like their marketing, how do you say, like their marketing tool, right?
Uh,
Because we would do tour and they're like, we have Julbert here and his friends, they
yeah.
own a business,
Yeah.
and we actually hire them for photos.
Wow. How long did you do that?
I did it for 4 years while I was in school. So
How is it that that didn't move you to continue doing that?
great question. No mentorship.
Uh,
And I'll explain why. On our senior year, we were deciding, hey, do we want to move forward with this?
yeah.
Were there a future in photography?
Yeah.
We were connected with a small group of gentlemen
Mhm.
that we thought were super successful. And after a deeper conversation, we realized we were more successful than them. So we're like, oh, if we're that successful now, maybe there isn't a future there. So
Okay.
we're like, oh, let's just get jobs.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how I ended up leaving that, working corporate, got laid off, and
Yeah.
went back to entrepreneurship. Then went and get an MBA. Then got another job. Got
Where did you go to school again now?
I went to Chain University for my
Okay.
undergrad,
Right.
and then for my grad, I went to Northeastern.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
where I got my master's in marketing and business.
Now, did you go to work in your industry of
It's funny
education?
that you ask. Right after graduation, I
Mhm.
end up working with a company in New York in the marketing space. And that didn't last too long. That lasted about a month.
Because of the job, your interest, or the area, or what?
Well, here's kind of like the situation. I don't talk much about it, but I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is the company I was working for, they hired me to help with a project. I had a very special skill set, and I put a plan for them. They
Uh huh.
execute the plan, and then after the execution of the plan, they didn't need me anymore.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
so so then I was let go. So that's when I started my own digital marketing company. I grew that to over 700 clients, 22 team members
Yeah.
around the world. We built it to a seven-figure business,
Yeah.
and I was able to exit last year, and then started the virtual assistant staffing company literally end of last year.
And what made you go? I mean, because you've had some transitions.
Yeah.
So what made you go from? I mean, listen, you were photography, and then marketing, and then digital, and then virtual assistant. Why virtual assistant?
So when I exited, a friend of mine came to me a few months later and was like, "Hey, I know you had a team, right? My 22 people, 12 of them were VAs. So
Where'd
I
you find
knew,
those people?
oh man, I went through hell. I hire a lot of people. I end up firing a lot of people. So over time, I kind of developed that skill set of hiring the right people,
Right.
and then they become part of my network.
So
So
you talked about in the photography space, you left that you didn't have the mentor that you
yes,
need, the mentoring. So did you find that
oh
in
yes.
the virtual assistant business
So
because you went through a lot? So
oh well, here's what happened. When I started the digital marketing
yeah.
company back in 2013, literally a year and a half later, I got into a program where I got my first business coach, who also became my mentor.
Wow.
And
So
I
important.
got surrounded by people that were doing six, seven, eight figures
Yeah.
in their businesses. So I was able to learn a lot from them, right? So now I got the right people around me
Yeah.
that were way further ahead than I was, And I'm like, okay, because they're so far ahead, I can learn from them. So that
Okay.
was my first level of
That's
mentorship.
why. Learn
Then,
from people who
yes,
are
who are
ahead
ahead
of
of
you.
you?
Yep.
100%.
I heard a gentleman say if you're the smartest one in the group, you need to change
Oh
your
yeah,
group.
100%.
Yeah.
I changed my group a few times.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me take you back. Let me take you back
Uh huh.
to moving here at 13 from
Yes.
Haiti
Yes.
and so forth. What are the things that happened in your life during those early teen years
Mm.
and so forth? What do you think occurred in your life that shaped you, whether it was influence from a parent or another relative or associations that shaped you through those to prepare you for those transitions that you went through?
Um, that's an amazing question. Thank you for asking. Not a lot of actually, no one ever asked that question. So,
Okay.
um, I'll share a couple stories. So I remember my dad was also an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Um, so growing up in Haiti, I was about 6, 7 years old. He did a lot of development and building and so forth. Every new home that we would get in, uh, he will start building it and then he'll move us in there. So
And
I grew up being able to move around in different places at a young age.
you always had a new house.
Yeah, so I had to adapt quickly in different environments.
That's important, right?
Yes, so
Key. That's key.
that helps with me becoming super fluid.
Not only adapt, but to position to you learned
Yes,
to not get attached,
exactly.
to be able to move on.
Move on. I agree 100%. A lot of people sometimes what's stopping them from getting to their goals is because it's hard for them to move on. You
They
know,
can't let go.
yeah, they're so emotionally attached
Right.
that they sometimes don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Um, I've experienced that in my youth
Hmm.
when we first moved to the first 2 to 3 houses,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, why are we leaving this house? I really love this one, and now we're another one. So I had to learn over time and like, okay,
You
this is
adjusted.
just part of my journey.
Yeah.
So I was able to live in different environment, learn from different people, and that helped me throughout life. So when I came to the States, um, my mindset was, this is America. We all heard about America is the land of dreams.
Yeah.
My goal is to reach my goal, build my dreams, and it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
Because that dream evolve as I evolve. So I've reached certain goals before already. Now I have bigger goals that I'm looking to reach. So
Wow.
it's an ongoing journey.
So what some of the tough part of that early on? I mean, you didn't did you know the language at all? You
No,
didn't, and
that
then you had to be launched into a school. So, listen, school children are cruel, you
oh,
know.
I'll tell you stories for days,
You
man.
know,
So what happened is, I remember I
I'll
got
say they can
enrolled.
be anyway. Not all of them,
90% of them.
but
So I got enrolled into a school, a middle school in Miami.
uh-huh.
First day, didn't speak English, didn't understand a word.
Yeah.
So I felt very lonely and isolated,
Right.
right? Because you want to communicate with people, but you don't know how to.
Yeah.
And they can't grasp what you're saying, you can't grasp what they're saying. So now you become, inside like a shelf, right?
Yeah.
And what ended up happening, I told myself, my first goal here is I gotta learn this language.
Yeah.
So
You thought that as that clearly at 13.
yeah, yeah. So the first thing I did was I went home and I'm like, okay, what's the fastest way I can learn this?
Yeah.
So I start watching cartoons.
Wow.
And I'm like, let me put the subtitles in so I can listen and read at the same time.
Yeah.
And I happened to live with a family friend at the time. Their son, I started learning from him because, he's a kid. He
Yeah.
didn't speak Haitian Creole, so he
Right.
spoke English to me.
Yeah.
So listening to TV, listening
But
to
you learn
him,
to communicate,
yeah,
and then you learn to speak.
exactly. So within 3 months, I started to get it,
Yeah.
and I realized a secret I don't know a lot of people knows.
Yeah.
Um, I became fluent when I was able to start thinking in English.
You know, that's an interesting point because, as I understand it, one of the most challenging things for adults in learning a new language, myself included,
Mm,
is because we try to interpret that language into our language instead of trying to learn to
Yes,
think in the other language.
that's the goat. I'm telling
And
you, if you're able to break that barrier, you can learn almost any language.
yeah.
Because the what's stopping us from learning a different language is because of the processing time to translate what they're saying into your language and then translate back to respond. But if you can over time by being around the right people, like I didn't make any Haitian friends. I'm like I'm gonna only hang out with
So
people.
you didn't have a crutch.
No,
Wow.
which is another issue with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna only hang out with people that speak English so I can speak English. I understood at that age that I needed to be in that environment
Yeah.
and I needed to force myself to learn.
So how do you think that the time that you spent at home, where the environment was all Haitian Creole, and the time you spent away,
I
which
love
was
that question.
yeah.
So, because of family, friends, and cousins, they all spoke English to me,
Okay.
right? And my aunt, she spoke really good English. So, I found myself in an environment where I didn't need to be speaking Creole because everybody spoke English.
Okay.
And so, that also forced me to speak English.
Uh huh.
And because I spent a lot of time watching cartoons,
Yeah.
then I kind of pick up the language much quicker. And then when
Yeah.
I was in school, I was also speaking English because I didn't surround myself with other Haitians.
Yeah. What was your favorite cartoon?
Oh my God, Dexter Laboratory.
Dexter Laboratory. Wow.
I still remember that cartoon since this day because I watch almost every episode. It was Dexter, it was Recess, it was Arthur.
Oh wow.
So those, I don't know if those they still play those things anymore. Simpsons was another one.
So so let's fast forward a little
Yeah.
bit more. And so you had some experiences that shaped some things and helped to prepare you
Hmm.
for it. And it's clear that 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 transition that you were basically thrust into
Yeah.
at 13 basically shaped your ability to move and to shape and to change and to adapt and so forth that
Quickly.
many people wouldn't, especially in a contained environment
Yeah.
with no challenges and so forth.
Yeah.
So with that, um, tell me where you're going from here.
Um, Another good question. So
Man,
the
I'm glad I'm asking good
oh
questions.
man, this is awesome. So what's happening is my goal after I exited the last company and start growing this last year, my goal is to build a global team and make a global impact
in,
because
in what area?
in Task Maven, my
Okay.
virtual assistant staffing
Yeah.
company, a lot of people see virtual assistant only as folks that do admin work or see them more like robots a little bit. I see them as people. They just live in a different country. I lived in a different country. They're all very educated. Most of our team members have college degrees, speak more than one language, and I connect well with them because I'm able to share my story.
Yeah.
That hey, I'm not from the states. I'm from another country as well, and being able to open these doors and
Yeah.
making impact not just to them but to their families. Like we have VAs in our team that because of them working with us, they're able not only take care of their current family but their
Yeah.
extended family, their partners going back to school. I
Yeah.
remember one of our VAs in my last company did so well with us. He was able to buy his dream house and dream home and dream cars.
Did
And
he
so,
stay a VA?
well, he stayed a VA for a while until I was able to sell the business.
Ah, okay.
But he positioned himself so well because he done so well with us that he didn't need to stay with us anymore. He got the life that he needed.
Man, that
You
is
know.
incredible. I would have never thought that. You think I think of a virtual assistant as someone who just kind of kicks it part time for a
Ah,
while and do something.
so I'm glad you said that. Right? There's three tiers of virtual assistant.
Okay.
Tier one, that's more the part time data entry, research, email admin type of work. There's a tier two, that's where the critical thinking come in,
Mm,
right? So these are in our team the assistant that write grants, business grants, nonprofit grants.
yeah.
They set up funnels, they set up automation, they write copy, right? So they could plan a whole campaign for you. They have
Right.
the critical thinking skills,
Wow.
right? And then on top of that, the third level that nobody talks about, what I call virtual professional, their management,
Yeah.
right? So they have the chief level executive skill set. They know how to put operating systems together. They know how to manage other VAs,
Yeah.
right? You gotta understand, like the only difference between a lot of these folks from the different countries and here in the states is the currency.
Hmm.
That's really it. Like you can literally get top talent
Yeah.
at just a better price because of the currency value.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, that don't mean they're not making any money. They're making close to doctor salary in their country because of
Yeah.
the skill set that they have, that
Yeah.
they're able to service a company here in the
Yeah.
States. While here in the States, for us, it benefits us because you're a small business owner.
Yeah.
You don't have to chug out 100,000 on salary
Yeah.
to get somebody that's great. You
Yeah.
could spend 40 grand and get like somebody that's amazing.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
So how do you find your virtual assistant, and how do you know when you got a good one?
Oh, I love that question. So it's a few different things, right? So for us, we've been blessed enough to have an amazing recruiter
Yeah.
who have an awesome network. And then good people know good people. So our core team in the beginning was great. They're able to refer some of their friends that are also great people.
Okay.
Now, when we work with a VA, we have a process that got to go through. They got to be interviewed by a recruiter. We're listening for the language. How well do they sound? We do a recording of the interview to go back and listen to it. They also got to take an assessment to see, okay, what level of this that they're in. Are they more of direct? Are they more I? Are they more S? Are they more C? And then once we know that, there's a third interview that goes through with me, right? So I want to speak to them about their skill set and understand the situation that they're in. That's just with us. Now, the second part is when their clients want to hire them.
Right.
So now we vet them. The client's gonna have two options that the clients get to interview as well.
Yeah.
And depends on the type of VA that they're in. We're gonna either give them their portfolio or examples of work that they've done. So now the clients get to make a decision based on the conversation they had with them to see if they're a cultural fit. And then the third piece of that is the trial period,
It's
7 to 30 days.
12 period. Okay.
That first 7 to 30 days gonna tell the client a lot. Is this someone I want to keep working with?
Right.
And if they don't, they're like, hey, I don't like this person, it's not working out, no
Yeah.
problem, we'll get you somebody else. Or if it's great, I love this person, they
Yeah.
capture everything quickly, I want to keep them.
Okay.
So
So you've had this business for how long now?
since September.
Since September of
So
last year.
yeah, so
23.
end of September, let's say October, November, December till
Yeah.
now, so about 10 months.
So far, what's the longest someone has kept the virtual assistant on?
Since September.
Really?
Yeah, we have clients in September that still kept the VAs.
Wow.
That's the retention process. And the way we're able to do that, we have what's called a quality assurance person.
Yeah.
Every month she's checking in with the clients. And the whole purpose of that is things going the way you want it to go.
Yeah.
You know, what can we do to either coach the person, or because of my skill set and experience owning a business before,
Yeah.
I can share insights that other VA companies don't even think about
Yeah.
because that's not their skill set.
Speaking of other VA companies, what would you say, Julbert, differentiates Task Maven
I love that.
VAs?
I think there's a few things. One, a lot of VA companies normally either specialize in one thing, right? Like they just do VA for consultants, or they have all the VAs in one country.
Yeah.
We've been blessed enough to have our VAs in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So we have a mix of VAs, which also brings in a mix of skill sets and experience. One thing I've realized is, for example, our VAs in Africa are super creatives,
Okay.
right?
What?
While
How do you define that?
creatives meaning like they're the
Super
one,
creative.
they're
Yeah.
doing video editing, they're doing graphics work, they're doing copywriting, they're doing landing pages, websites, systems and automations.
Those are the places that you look at another place like a Fiverr or somewhere. Never thought about that for the VA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? So that's
Okay.
one differentiator, right? The second one is our pricing model.
Okay.
A lot of people, the way they're priced their VAs is they just charge a margin on top per hour. We don't do it like that. We just charge a placement fee up front if you're a startup company,
Yeah.
under the 250K mark. And then that put us in a position where now you can pay the VA directly. You just pay us a placement fee for finding, vetting, and guaranteeing a VA for 12 months.
Gotcha.
Now, a lot of people don't do that. They don't guarantee a VA for 12 months. They'll do it for maybe 60 days to 90-day max. So those little differentiator allow us to separate ourselves. And the third thing is the level of VA that we have. A lot of people just have tier one VAs.
Mm-hmm.
We're blessed enough to have tier one, tier two, and tier three. So it comes down to where are you in your business and
Yeah.
what exactly is your needs. If it's tier one, great, we can help you. If it's tier three, it's a little bit more expensive because you're getting a leadership role, someone that can come in, set up all your system and operation,
Yeah.
and hire and manage VAs for you.
Gotcha. So, what what would you leave with this audience here who may be thinking about VA, maybe or not thinking about it, or maybe should be thinking about it? What message would you have for those people?
If you're a business owner that's looking to grow your business and get your time back,
Mhm.
stop doing the $5, $6 per hour job and start focusing on the 50,000, 60,000, $70,000 jobs. And I believe a virtual professional, right? It's more than just an assistant, can benefit and help you with that because they'll put you in a position where now you have someone handling those admin tasks in your business or those certain level of management tasks, and you can focus more on either your client or partnership or biz dev, things that's going to move the needle in your business. So that's one gem. Second gem is if you decide to hire a VA, identify in your company what the VA should be able to do for you. So we have this thing that I teach entrepreneurs that break your business down in several sectors, right? You have admin, marketing, operations, sales, finance. Break that down and then list tasks that you do in all those different sections in your business,
Yeah.
and then identify which one that you want to focus on and which one you want to delegate out to a VA team.
Okay. Great. Great. And when you said the stop the 5, 6, 7 and the focus on the 45, now are you talking about the client earning or the client paying those amounts?
Um,
I want to be clear on
I
that.
love that. So we're talking about the client's earning, but also on that side, think about it, right? We have owners that'll spend 10 hours trying to do their logo while they can have a VA handle that, or trying to do a post on social media
Mm-hmm.
while they can have a virtual professional do that,
Mm-hmm.
or trying to set up a funnel or landing page that would take that person 3 hours to do. You pay them, let's say, $6, $7 an hour.
Yeah.
That's $21.
Yeah.
Those 3 hours you could have spent it on the phone talking to, 6, 7 clients that
Earning some
can
money,
lead
right? Yeah.
to 60, seventy thousand
Yeah.
dollar in
Yeah.
sales. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean on that end. And then on the other side of that question, um, when you're growing a business and let's say you under that, you know, let's say you're doing 100K a year,
Yeah.
you're not in a position yet to hire and pay a $60,000 salary,
Yeah.
right? However, you can have somebody overseas that can handle similar work,
Yeah.
if it is not face to face type of work,
Yeah.
for 30 grand.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's identify and prioritize how can I increase the profit in my business, reduce my operating costs, and still get the work done at the same caliber I need it to be done.
Yeah.
And that does require some work because getting the right VA that fits your culture,
Yeah.
it requires some finesse in terms of interviewing the right people, put them through a process,
Yeah.
and be willing to test.
Right. Right. Well, that's great, man. Well, listen, is as we wrap this up, tell us how people can reach you.
Absolutely. You can reach me online. You can go to our site, taskmavenservices.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Task Maven Services. You can find us on LinkedIn, Task Maven Services. You're welcome to reach out to us, or you could find me just
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, J. Abraham, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or share any knowledge that can help you make a decision.
Great, great, man. Any final words that you want to leave with us?
Thank you, Melvin, for this opportunity. Check out his podcast. Stick with Melvin, he's the man. And I appreciate you again for giving me a chance to speak on your platform.
Absolutely. So, hey, folks, listen. Just glad to have had an opportunity to talk to Julbert here. And hey, listen, keep watching. Love for you to subscribe, drop a like. Just keep adapting, keep changing, keep reaching for higher levels in everything that you do. And listen, our shattered mindset is to just break up the things that our life has been challenged with, and look at those things in life and see how they have led to who we are, where we're going, where we've been, and where we can be from now. So, hey, listen, take care, take charge. Signing off. We'll talk to you. Take care.